In his introductory talk, Lokamitra spoke of or referred to the caste system. And if, by the way, anyone is interested in understanding exactly what the caste system is and what it implies, especially for our ex-untouchable friends, then I suggest they go through my Ambedkar and Buddhism. But here comes a question about, or connected with that same subject of caste. Lokamitra, can you tell us what progress has been made in spreading the Dharma to the higher castes in India? Are there any things you could be doing which to speed this, which you are not doing at the moment?
Yes, obviously this is a crucial question. The Dharma cannot be limited to one particular community in India, otherwise it will become a caste religion, it will remain part of Hinduism, and the whole movement of conversion, of getting away from untouchability, will have been defeated. There is a lot of interest in Buddhism among caste Hindus. On the whole, it's largely sort of philosophical and theoretical, and unfortunately many of them don't want to be associated with the people we're working with. It would have been easier to work with caste Hindus if we hadn't already started with the people we're working with. So I think really what we've got to do, we've got to show the rest of India, or the caste Hindus, that the Buddhists in our movement are real Buddhists and they're not untouchables, they're not ex-untouchables. I think that is the long-term answer. In the meantime, yes, there's a lot more that we could do, but again, it's a matter of the number of hands we've got. There are people who are interested. We could give talks in other situations. We do give talks in some other to some other people. For example, we give talks in Theosophy Hall in Bombay, with which Bhante has had a long association. Padmavajra recently gave 3 very successful talks there. We've got 2 people from there who, one is a mitra and one is wanting to be ordained. Again, intelligent, sensitive, adaptable people from here could help very much in that way. I don't think yet our Indian friends can do very much in this area. I think it will still be a few years before many of them can really succeed in that area.
Yes, this in fact reminds me of something from my own experience, which I don't think I've ever touched upon or spoken of before. But it goes back to 1954, when I went to Bangalore and I gave the lectures on which the survey is based. After I'd given the lectures, there was a whole evening devoted to questions and answers. And you may remember that I'd given these lectures at the Indian Institute of World Culture, which was run by theosophists, connected with the same theosophists in Bombay, to whom Lokamitra has referred. And the people who came along to my lectures were highly educated caste Hindus, a few Muslims, also highly educated, a few Parsis, still more highly educated, and so on. Not a single ex-untouchable, of course. And one of the questions I was asked in the course of that question and answer session was, what do you think of Dr. Ambedkar's threat to become Buddhist? And bear in mind, I'd just spoken about Buddhism, and my lectures had been received most enthusiastically. But it was clear to me from the way in which the question was asked, they weren't at all happy about Dr. Ambedkar's threat as they saw it, to convert to Buddhism. This was in 1954, when he was on the verge of conversion. And I tried to steer a sort of middle way, not really knowing, of course, whether Dr. Ambedkar was in fact going to convert or not. But I certainly expressed great sympathy for his aspiration to go for refuge. And I could see that was not at all well received. And though those highly educated caste Hindus were, in a way, at least intellectually sympathetic to Buddhism or culturally sympathetic to it, the idea of these ex-untouchables, or as they saw them in many cases, untouchables, actually embracing Buddhism didn't appeal to them at all. It's as though, in fact, the fact that they liked Buddhism, these caste Hindus, meant they didn't want people like the ex-untouchables to be associated with it. I'm sorry to say I found the same attitude among some Sinhalese bhikshus. They did not want to be associated with people like the ex-untouchables.